Hello and welcome to this video and podcast. We've got a cracking lineup of guests who are all going to be talking about things Bett this year. And it's an amazing show we have got planned for you. In the chair, this brilliant show, we've got Louisa Hunter, who is the Bett Portfolio Director. She is running Bett this year. I'm very pleased to welcome her to the show. Emma Darcy, who is Director of Technology for Learning at Denby High School and Chiltern Learning Trust. She's also a Bett Advisory Board member. Excellent, Emma. Lovely to see you as well. Caroline Wright, who is the Director General of BESA. I'm looking forward to catching up with you. And the brilliant Kingsley, who is the CEO of NetSupport and also the Chair of a Multi-Academy Trust and acclaimed author this year. I'm loving the Governor book. I'll talk to him about that on the show. And of course, me, Russell Prue. You may have seen me in other video podcasts and radio shows. I am hosting all of the NetSupport radio shows from the show floor. I'm a broadcaster, an author, and an educator as well. Well, welcome to the show. Thank you so much. I'm going to start with Louisa, who is, of course, the Bett Portfolio Director and in charge of the show. Hello, Louisa, and thank you. Welcome to the show as well. Can you just tell us a little bit about this year's theme, please?
Absolutely, Russell. Thank you. So the overarching theme for Bett 2023 is Reconnect, Reimagine and Renew. So that's about reconnecting with colleagues, friends and technology partners, reimagining the use of technology in the classroom and the potential that technology has to make an impact on the lives of teachers and learners, and renewing our commitment to equitable learning. And if you look at the agenda online, you'll see that it covers sort of 6 broad topics of well-being, so mental well-being across school communities and dealing with teacher workload, skills, developing future skills, preparing students for the future workplace, developing and empowering staff, reframing assessment, innovation, fostering collaboration and learning beyond the classroom, everything to do with leadership and education, so developing digital strategy, infrastructure and tech management, harnessing partnerships, also sustainability in schools. Lots to do with championing the EdTech innovators and also the important topic of inclusion. So providing equitable access, lots on assistive tech and inclusive learning experiences. So yes, hundreds and hundreds of hours of content from big keynotes to demos to CPD accredited sessions.
Brilliant. And you've got some changes planned for me. I'll come back to you a little later because I want to talk about some of those, some brilliant and innovative ideas that we're all looking forward to. Now, on to Emma now. And now, Emma, of course, you are a Bett Advisory Board member. And I wondered if you could just to explain to our viewers and listeners how you've helped to shape this year's programme.
Yes, well, that sounds very glamorous and exciting, doesn't it, Russell? So I'm one of 15 advisory board members, and we meet every 6 weeks. And the idea is really, I suppose, we're a sounding board for sort of some of the ideas and the proposals of what Bett is going to look like during the year. And I think in terms of what we bring to the table, the idea is that it's 15 people from very, very different backgrounds. So some of us are working in schools, some of us work for MAT, some of us work in HE, FE, early years, inclusion. And we have some lively debates. We have some lively discussions in terms of what Bett should look like, in terms of what the content should be. We're all able to sort of bring to the table what's important to us. And I think that shapes a really diverse and hopefully very, very inclusive programme. And we all give our thoughts and opinions on things, and some of those things actually make it into Bett and some of them don't. But I think the important thing is that you've got that broad range of people around the table that are able to have that particular input.
Brilliant. Now, I know you focus heavily. I want to stay with you, Emma, for another question. You focus heavily on the impactfulness. That's another marvellous mouthful as well. How is that changing? Because there's a much greater focus on that this year. How is that changing?
I think it links in with, I mean, Louisa's already said about what sort of the key global themes are. And I think that it would be really remiss of us this year at Bett to ignore things like the cost of living crisis for our families and our children, the impact that's had on schools, obviously, and also the widest global themes of things like sort of, sustainability and the importance of linking a digital strategy with your school sustainability plan. So I think that in terms of the focus this year at Bett, I think you're going to see those things really coming to the fore. And I think that in terms of the vendors that are there, the stands that are there, I think you're going to have schools and visitors and educationists coming around and sort of saying, so tell me about the impact of your product. Tell me about the difference it actually makes. Where's your evidence of that? Talk to me about how your product is sustainable, and not just sustainable from the point of view of, if you introduce this as part of a digital strategy, has it got legs? Is it going to run year on year? But also, how sustainable is this product longer term, and what's its environmental impact going to be? And I think that's a real change. But I think that everyone's really up for that as an idea, because obviously we had those years where we weren't able to have Bett, where we weren't able to sort of all meet together and speak to face to face. And I think the idea about the reconnect, reimagine, renew, the time is ripe for that. We've been through like a massive shift change, and I think it's the right time to be having those sorts of conversations.
Brilliant. Emma, thank you very much. Caroline, turning to you now. Are you seeing trends in terms of co-production? And I wondered if there's an evidence-based products. Is there a steering towards that from your suppliers association?
Absolutely. And I think what Emma said was really, really important. With the cost of living challenges, we need to make sure that schools can buy the products and services that have the evidence behind them, that they're going to be right for them. I've been really proud to see what's been going on in the industry over the last few years to really drive forward the evidence and impact and efficacy of products. So I think companies are working really, really hard on that front. And the fantastic thing about British teachers is they're so engaged and so willing to help and shape the right products for their schools. So it's a brilliant system we have for schools collaborating with commercial vendors. That's fantastic. I will give a sneak preview. We haven't announced this yet, but we will here. We're actually working with our BESA members, because they do so much already in their own space on the research they have of the impact of their products, that we'll be publishing a digest of kind of the latest research from BESA members at Bett. So that's one sort of nice that schools and colleges can read and look through. So that's kind of a new evidence-based research for Bett. The second one we're putting together based on the research that BESA carries out on the schools market annually, which is traditionally for our members, but we were thinking that how can this help school leaders too? So we're going to be putting together a new research report, which is the EdTech leadership briefing report, that takes the research and evidence and trends and actually provides an audit tool and some advice for the school leadership team to ask about what should they be considering in their schools too. And then from this industry side, there are obviously organisations that are really sort of top notch at being able to provide the academic and sort of expert support to companies wanting to look at their own research. So we work with Educate Ventures on how they can support companies from an independent expert perspective. So lots and lots happening in that space.
Brilliant. And Caroline, can folks come along to your stand and pick up those digests? Will they be available physically as well as digitally?
Well, we're trying to cut down, really mindful of sustainability. So
Sure.
Actually we're trying not to print, but there'll be QR codes and links, and we can email it. So yeah, we're going to be making them available digitally, but come to our stand anyway. So it would be lovely to see you. Come and pop in and see us on the BESA stand in the South Hall.
Brilliant. Excellent. Well, those conversations are so very important, and Bett has proved that. And that's a perfect opportunity to link back to Louisa and ask you, what can visitors expect this year? What have you got planned for us? Now, you've got some very interesting initiatives, and I want to hear all about them, please, Louisa. What have you got planned for us?
Well, I guess the main thing to say is that Bett 2023 is going to be the absolute best Bett ever. And that is not because it's just bigger and more exciting and there's more amazing edtechs and more amazing educators from the global community. Those things are all true. It's because we've got some new ways of kind of facilitating connections and collaborations in the community that will make more of those connections than ever before. And that's what's going to make Bett 2023 particularly special. We're launching this amazing new meetings program called Connect at Bett. The purpose of Connect at Bett is to really help educators discover the right tech for their institutions much more quickly and efficiently than ever before. And it helps EdTechs identify the people within institutions that can really unlock the potential of their tech. So that will happen at a massive scale at Bett. So there's over 500 EdTechs participating and over 6,000 education decision makers. So it's gonna feel a bit different, and it's going to be very exciting. But I mean, there are just so many opportunities for networking and collaboration across the show. I feel like I can't really highlight any particular sessions because there's so much great stuff going on. But to echo what everyone else has said today, the importance of kind of the impact conversation and ensuring that all of the sessions have some nod to efficacy. I know, Al, you're going to be talking in the Leaders Theatre on that topic specifically, sort of measures of impact. We're also talking to Educate Ventures and ISTE about a session on how we can help schools to become better sort of technology buyers and users, and actually think a little bit harder about the evidence behind the technology that they're using. Great keynotes. I can't not mention Stephen Bartlett, who's being interviewed by Amal Rajan about his education journey and really kind of preparing a new generation of entrepreneurs. And Sally Uren, OBE, who'll be exploring the massive sort of transformation that education institutions are going to have to go through to get to that sort of carbon neutral goal in 2030 that the DFE has set. So yeah, check out the agendas online. There's an awful lot on offer.
Amazing. And Michael Rosen is back. You've managed to secure him post-COVID. I am so looking forward to hearing about his trials and tribulations. It'll just be fascinating. I can't wait. That's going to. He must have been overbooked already for that. It's amazing. Amazing list. Well done.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Okay, brilliant. We'll come back for another chat with Louisa in a second. Al, turning to you now. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Thank you so much. I hear, she's already broken the news. Fabulous Louisa there as well. It's not my gift now to give you, listeners, but Al is going to be talking in the Leaders Theatre at Bett. Al, what have you got planned for us?
Oh, I've got all sorts planned. I mean, you just have to go rogue once you get to Bett, don't you, really? I mean, we've heard evidence, co-production, impact measures. They're all kind of music to my ears, and things myself and many have been trying to raise on the agenda and increase the profile, I guess, for the last few years. In terms of talking, I'm very fortunate. I've got a group together talking about how we can empower digital transformation and the effective governance that wraps around that, the challenge, measures of impact, the why, the whats and hows that we're doing. And I've got a mixture of speakers joining me. Kanak Gupta's joining me from the Jaipura schools in India. Wow. Julie Carson from the Woodland Trust Academy Trust. Ollie Lewis, who's got both UK and UAE experience on digital transformation. So that's going to be a really interesting conversation. And I think it's that bigger picture about all stakeholders at all levels in schools being on a common mission and providing that support as well as challenge all the way along. I'm also very fortunate. I'm going to be joining a panel talking about rethinking the purpose of education with the OECD's project on human flourishing, which is very much an agenda that many have shared here, because it's that thinking about broadening how we measure successful schools and education system, thinking more about skills and well-being as part of that bigger measure. So it aligns with loads of the strands that have been shared and Louisa's shared in terms of the Bett bigger picture. And then also signing into supporting what we're doing with BESA in my role there. I'm also going to be at the Bett Futures on the Friday with 2 sessions there where there's going to be showcases from loads of innovative startups. And I'm going to be supporting a bit of a Q&A session around their solutions and what their ambitions are. So all in all, it's going to be really, really busy, but also exciting meeting everybody. And I'm going to flip it around because one of the other things that I'm really excited about, and of course I will get in on the action for a chat each morning with you, Russ, is obviously we are the official broadcasters at Bett 2023, but I kind of feel you're better qualified than me to share what we've got planned for that during the 3 days.
Well, you're very kind. Thank you so much. Listening to your very busy agenda there, I just hope there's time to get signed copies, to bring my book in and get you to sign it, please. It's just very important. You have to position yourself somewhere. So I'm sure you're available for signings. Well, it's a thrilling opportunity. And thank you so much indeed for Louisa and her team for such a brilliant opportunity. Well, of course, lots of keynotes, some really interesting movers and shakers we want to talk to. But it's also conversation with ordinary folk, just ordinary colleagues, practitioners stopping by on our stand SE51 and having a conversation with us. Tell us what your highlights are. Getting to the grassroots and hearing from real people who are at the chalk face, if that isn't an out-of-date term, is just so priceless for me. It's a lovely way of checking my compass and seeing how things are progressing. Of course, technologists, lovely to speak to big movers and shakers in that field. I hope all of you will be able to stop by and have a conversation with us. And if you're coming to the stand and visiting the show, you don't have to come whilst we're on air. We are broadcasting live at 3 o'clock every day, Al, as you well. But we do pre-record some content because, of course, not everyone can be available at 3. So if you want to stop by, and if you've got a group of children, I know we've got lots of children on the show stopping by. There's a couple of takeovers we've got planned. So folks that have got radio stations from me bring their children down, and basically they've already been pre-trained, and I just stand back and off they go. And that's the most precious, exciting bit, because who knows what could possibly go wrong in that time. And just hearing what young people want to say. And there's always a couple of shows that I've done. I've done a couple this week as well. And it's interesting what news stories they pick out, what's important to them. And I think that's a lovely, refreshing opportunity for us as educators to listen to young people. This is pupil voice at its very, very, very best. And I think that's really important. So I'm really looking forward, Al. You've got a lovely studio planned for us, lovely space there, SE51, the place to go. And just come and hang around, and we'll get you a quick interview, and I'll ask you some very interesting searching questions. I won't tell you what they are because I generally don't know myself. It's kind of, an audience-led discussion. So thanks so much indeed for that, and thank you to Louisa for the opportunity as well. Al, can I come back to you now? Let me flip it back on you as well. And now, as part of your amazing commitment to the whole thing, I think you've got some extra activities planned on your stand. It'd be just good to touch on those. It's not just about me and radio, my fabulous choice of bow ties. You've got some other things planned. Tell us more.
Well, of course, it is really all about you and your bow ties, Russ. But in addition to that, we have got some other activities. You'll know that I'm very passionate about the sector as the whole, from the educators to the children to the vendors, the bigger picture. And every year we try and make sure there's a mix to give a platform for all sorts of different voices. So alongside the radio and the amazing keynotes and speakers you're going to get, and lots of those student takeovers, which I absolutely love, we also have recordings that we're going to be doing each day for educators on what we call our NetSupport Insights channel. So best practice, top tips, what's happening in the marketplace, things that are on the horizon, pressures. Sometimes it's about work-life balance and other aspects for the insights. We're also going to be recording in the mornings and late afternoons, live sessions for the Check It Out show. So that's our bit supporting EdTech vendors and startups across the sector, talking about their new solutions, what they're doing to align with some of those values that we're aligning at Bett. Alongside that, as well as the teachers and the startups, we also want to give a voice to the techies, the IT managers. So we provide a space on our stand for the ANME, the Association of Network Managers in Education. So the techies can come and grumble at us and tell us how we need to optimize things and do things right. And so around those themes, we're really trying to make sure that there's something for everybody, and we give people a voice. And of course, they'll all be coming across and jumping on the radio and having a chat with you, Russell, as well. So really looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right, so let's just open the discussion up now. Now, everyone, I want to come to you in turn, and I want to ask you, do you have any top tips for visitors? What should folks consider before arriving on the Wednesday, if they come on the Wednesday, of course? What their first tips, what do folks need to plan ahead? What do they need to do? Louisa, let's come to you first. What are your top tips?
Well, the absolute top tip is you really must register for Bett before the new deadline to register, which is the 3rd of March. So if you want a free ticket to Bett, register before the 3rd of March. Best advice I can give. Also, join Connect at Bett. If you're an education institution or a government institution, you can participate in Connect by letting us know about that before the 3rd of March. If you're in EdTech, we really need to hear from you next week if you want to participate in that amazing new program. And then I guess have fun. Have lots and lots of fun at Bett.
Brilliant. And just to clarify, that Connect at Bett is the size of a football pitch, isn't it? It is unprecedented. We've never seen this at a Bett ever before. I know the concept's been trialled several times, very successfully, and elsewhere around the world, but no one's done it on this scale before.
That's exactly right, and that's what's going to make it so successful and feel so exhilarating. So it's basically the size of a football pitch within the exhibition hall at Bett.
I love it. I'm looking forward to seeing how that works. It's very exciting. You know, there's going to be a central announcement and then folks are just going to pile in. It's going to be magical, absolutely magical. And certainly the fastest way to meet new contacts and have new relationships with potentially new suppliers. I love that as well. Same question to you, Emma. What do you recommend folks do before they arrive?
Well, I would say definitely download the Bett app. I always used to be one of those people carrying the map around, trying to open it out when there's lots of people around, can't find it at the bottom of my bag, that sort of thing. The Bett app changed my life for the last year or so, going to the Bett show, because I would literally plan everything that I wanted to go and see. It helped me find my way around. And whereas before I would miss things because I kind of hadn't allowed enough time to get from one space to another, I think the Bett app really transformed things for me last year. And I think also it's good practice anyway to sit, have a really good look at the schedule before you come down, decide what you want to go and see, make sure that you're prioritizing those sessions that you want to get to and allowing enough time to get from one place to another, particularly if you've never been to Bett before and you just haven't got that perspective of how massive a space it is and how many amazing things are going to be going on all at the same time, because obviously you don't want to miss any of them.
Brilliant idea. It is big. It is, even though you think about it being a huge, big, ginormous shopping opportunity, it's bigger than that, and it's just so busy and vibrant and exciting. Thank you so much, and indeed. Caroline, what about you?
I'd say look at the trails. The Bett team have put together some amazing trails so that if you're particularly interested in a topic or aspect, it's kind of guides you around the show floor, and it just makes your life easy so that you can go and really focus on the areas that you're interested in. So they're very well worth a look.
Brilliant. Al, what do you recommend? I'm taking comfy shoes off the table, so you may not mention comfy shoes.
Oh, the sneakers count as a different option.
Not really, no.
I'm certainly reflecting on them for Bett Connect. I shall be there, and I'm really looking forward, and I'm hoping to connect with lots of different stakeholders from schools around the country. So that's something I'm really excited about. The Bett app, the trails are all great. I can't say too much, but before we get to Bett, you'll see there's a bit of a roadmap coming out from NetSupport of curated people that we really recommend you go and check out. Everything from BESA members to Bett Award finalists to products and solutions that we know align with the general theme and vibe that we're trying to support at the show. So I think the planning is key, isn't it? No matter where you go, and of course our guide will be best, but I'd have to say that. But in simple terms, it is really about get a plan in, as Emma shared, in advance of where you want to go so you don't miss anything. The truth of it is you will miss something because there's so much going on all the time, but at least you can prioritize through that.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Finally, let's just work through the list again, asking this, my final question today. Let's finish off. I want to know what you're most excited. What are you looking forward to the most? Just one thing, please, from you each for this year's Bett 2023. Louisa, you're up first.
I mean, it's just the conversations. I just can't wait to talk to everyone about the conversations that they're having and find out about the impact that those meetings and collaborations at Bett are really having. And that's a big focus for us this year. It's not just about how many people come, it's about what actually happens when they meet with each other.
Brilliant. And I just can't wait for the Connect at Bett. It's just amazing. These are timed meeting sessions. I can't impress upon you, viewers, listeners. It's just amazing. A 15-minute session, concentrated, ding, off the bell goes, and then out you go to the next one. I like that. I love the whole concept. Emma, what do you recommend?
I'm sorry, Russ, I'm going rogue. I've got two. The first one, I'm hosting the Leaders at Bett Theatre on the Thursday. So I'm actually introducing Al's session, and I'm really excited about that because when you're hosting a theatre, you don't just get to introduce everyone, you get to stay for all the sessions as well. So that'll be great. And the second thing is the Friday. We've got some children from our Chiltern Learning Trust schools coming down for both Kids Judge Bett and the Design for SDGs Challenge. And I am so excited to see what those children make of Bett because I know it is going to absolutely blow their minds. I know that there's going to be a lot of children there who it's going to shape what they decide to do in the future for a career and everything else, and I just can't wait to see what their reaction is to Bett.
Brilliant. I've been a part of the Kids Judge Bet and a winner, a previous winner in the past. It is amazing. And I love the idea, your angle there, and how it can shape their futures. You're right. It can be so impactful on what they see and what they learn and what they hear. And I love hosting those sessions as well. Caroline, what about you?
I love the Kids Judge Bet too. It's just amazing to see and to gauge their enthusiasm. So that, but also for me, I represent the British Educational Suppliers Association. We take lots of our amazing companies around the world to different countries, different exhibitions on EdTech and other areas of education. And that's fantastic. But this, Bett London, if I could do a Phil Mitchell impression, I would, but it's our manner. It's our manner where we're kind of showing the very best of sort of British EdTech. And I love meeting the international delegations and some people that I see from around the world. They come to London to really see what we've got, to see kind of our amazing teaching and our amazing sort of EdTech industry. So I love those connections, and I'm really looking forward to connecting with all the international visitors too.
And finally, Al, let's pick up the question with you. Al, what are you most looking forward to this year?
I think our panelists have covered all the highlights, because for us on our stand is always about the children's voice that we have, the connections with so many people across the sector. If I'm honest, the thing that I enjoy most about Bett is actually having a quality 3 days to spend time with all our team, all our friends that we invite, and all the different people that come and meet us at Bett. And for me, that's the kind of the real value. It's also a big litmus test, isn't it, for what's happening. And as Caroline shared, there is a sense of pride that the UK is really leading the way in the EdTech sector in many regards. And it's not bad to puff your chest out and actually have a bit of pride in what we as an industry and sector are doing every now and again.
Brilliant. And I guess I should finish with what am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to producing, last year, Bett 2022, 14 hours of live radio we produced from the show floor. And I'm looking forward to breaking that record again with some amazing content, some lovely interviews, a lovely snapshot of the mood, the vox populi, if you like, the moment in time of how things are. And I just love that. It serves as a great record. And if for any bizarre reason you're unable to make the journey, you can listen to us live at 3:00. Just go to netsupportsoftware.com/radio and you will pick up our live player there. And I hope you can join us and thoroughly enjoy the experience. It's just amazing. All the links are on the page now for you. There are click-throughs on the associated websites and the podcasts as well that we've mentioned. I'd like to thank all of our brilliant guests today for their generous giving of their time. Louisa Hunter, Emma Darcy, Caroline Wright, Al Kingsley, and me, Russell Prue. Don't forget, arrive early, get your tickets before the 3rd of March. Otherwise, there will be a fee. They are free up until then. And we look forward to seeing you at Bett 2023. Goodbye.